All right, y'all. Welcome back to Not
Another
Another
fucking
Fucking
podcast.
Podcast. We're on episode 7.
Lucky number 7.
Yes.
We picked a good time to to do this show. This episode particularly.
So tonight's topic is going to be about spooky shit.
In honor of Halloween.
My favorite holiday.
What am I doing? Definitely top 3.
Yes. So we're going to talk about some spooky shit that we've personally gone through.
As I would say, supernatural or like paranormal activity or, something out of whack that we've been through.
I'm excited about this because you got some stories up your sleeve that our viewers would love to hear about.
I tell people them, and it's funny because like when I do, they just don't even believe like half of the shit that I say. I'm like, I promise you, I cannot make any of this up. But yeah, I would say I'm gonna save the big one for last. I'm gonna say one of them was me and my friend. We were playing. My friend at the time, we were playing the Ouija board, and she was telling me about it. And I've only played it one other time at a friend's house, but we were in 7th grade, so I don't really think or know if like we were really doing it right. But fast forward to about 10th grade, so sophomore year, she this is a different friend from the 7th grade one, but we were playing it, and I just remember like moving it. I was like, stop fucking me, like I know you're moving it. And she was like, no, I'm not. And it was the lights, was it?
Did the light start flickering?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because it was 2 with her. So me and her played it with each other, and then a month or 2 later, our mutual friend, she came over, and we were telling her about this, and then she's like, oh, no way. So we played it with her, and another like paranormal activity had happened. I think, if I remember it right, me and her were playing. We're like, are you a girl? Are you a boy? Oh, this is what happened. Yeah. Oh. So we were like, so the person identified themselves as a boy. And then after that, we were just like, oh, like tell us, like show us proof that you're really here.
Mm-hmm.
And I kid you not, we saw me and her aren't even like cool like that anymore, but I bet you she'd back me up on this. Because that shit freaked us both out, was that we saw a little boy's shadow run across her room. It started from the beginning of her door, ran behind her TV, jumped up on her bed, but his shadow was on the wall, and jumped up on the bed, and just like he did a full circle and then disappeared.
Damn.
I was like, oh shit. So then a couple months later, we played it again, same girl, same house, with a new person. So now instead of 2, there's 3 of us. And this is when the lights were flickering. Like we were just like, oh, like if you're here, give us a sign. And the lights started flickering. We were just like, oh nope, time out. We're game over. We're good.
Damn. So her house was just full of spirits then, huh?
Yeah.
Like she had a whole murder house going on. Like
we always talked about it because honestly, a paranormal, like a really severe event. So I guess I'll say this one now. I was gonna save it for last, but there's another story that I'll just say. But so me and her, we were like talking. We stayed up all night, probably until about like 10, 11 o'clock. So maybe even 12. So essentially, like when you go to sleep, it takes a little minute and stuff. So I was probably in dreamy land by like 1 o'clock at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I woke up and I was, oh gosh, I'm so embarrassed. No, not really. I woke up and I was covered in piss. I was covered in pee. And she was just like, what's going on? We blamed it on the cat. But then after that, I was still like I was hyperventilating. She's like, what's wrong? What's going on? I was like, bro, I just had the strangest, I didn't know what a lucid dream is, like any of like the realistic dreams. I didn't know what that meant at the time. So and this is the same girl with the Ouija board. So she's like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? Like, why are you freaking out? And I told her, I was like, I just had the craziest dream. She's like, what? I was like, I had a dream that it was like, I'm looking at that, but honestly, it was like fog, and like it kind of cleared through. And when I walked up, there was a girl with bleach blonde hair, and she was face down over here. And there was a guy with short brown hair, and he was face down over here. And if you look off to the left, next to him over there was crumpled up. It literally looked like somebody took a pickup truck and just crumpled it in their hands like a piece of paper, and it was just over there, like just a pile of metal. And then over here on the right, it looked like, I couldn't tell if it was a Jeep or an SUV, but it was definitely like a four-door box looking car, red over here. And in the middle of them was a broken fence. And she's like, that's so weird that you remember those dreams and stuff like that, like how vivid it was. And I was like, yeah, I don't know why I was dreaming that. Oh, well, anyways, so we just went about our day. We're, eating breakfast, painting our nails, like chilling, whatever. So her neighbor, which is our classmate, Dakota, he comes over and he's like, oh my gosh, did you guys hear? You need to turn on the news. And we're like, what are you talking about? Turn on the news. And he's like, you didn't hear about what happened last night? We're like, no, we're sleeping. Turns on the news, and our classmates had passed away in a car accident between like 2 to 4 o'clock in the morning. I honestly forget the timestamp, but I think it was 2 or 3. And they were racing pretty much. If you ever take like spinning toppers, you spin them very close together, and once they like just slightly touch each other, they go crazy. Right. So that was essentially their cars. He was driving a I think it was 2-door, a black pickup truck. She was driving a red Jeep, her friend's Jeep. Her friend was in the car with her. She was only 15, so she had a learner's permit. And her friend had the driver's license, but she's like, oh, take the wheel. Yeah. And then he was driving his car with a friend with him. And they were racing it. And then essentially it touched and it veered off. He hit a tree, was killed instantly. She went through a fence, and then her car eventually stopped. And so in the dream, that broken fence was the fence that she had went through. And so I essentially had a dream of my classmates dying while they were dying.
Damn, that shit's wild as fuck.
It was very intense.
Like,
I only told a few people.
So when you had the dream and you woke up, like, did you just feel like, damn, that shit was wild or weird, or did you feel like it was something different than like previous dreams? Or
it felt my heart was racing. I could I could feel the air, like the breeze, the air in the dream. I saw it. It was very vivid. Like I couldn't even tell you what I had for breakfast 3 days ago, but I'll never forget this dream. Like they were face down and pool of blood. There was a lot of blonde girls at my school, but there was only 2. It was her and another girl named Lexi, and they would even be mistaken as twins because they were the only 2 girls in our grade that had bleach, like toe heads, like blonde, like it was almost white. And so it was just to see that, just remembering it. So it wasn't like, if it was, honestly, I feel like if it was like a regular, like dirty blonde, just hair, I don't think, but just the fact of how distinctive it was, and then just the car, the broken fence.
Yeah, that's wild. The whole broken fence part, like, damn.
Yeah, I'm not even like friends with the girl. Like we're not close like that anymore. But I know for a fact if I reached out and was like, "Hey, do you remember this?" She'd be like, "Yeah." Like that's was
wild. The fact that this is the same girl that you did the Ouija shit with, like, she might be a medium.
It's so crazy that you say that, because I honestly never even put the dream that I had and the Ouija board. I never really put them together. Like, oh my gosh, it's the same girl.
Yeah, that. It might be some shit attached to her that was, that helped you. Because you were like in the same room with her when you had the dream and stuff.
Yeah.
So
no, we were laying in the bed together.
Yeah.
Like it was a little cutesy fun, like, oh, we're 15, let's have a sleepover type thing. And I woke up and I was it was in complete shock. Like I was a bedwetter, so I kind of knew, like, when it was like essentially coming, or like a little bit, not really, but like, I mean, to just wake up and just be like, it was just like, oh my gosh, like it was weird because like being a bedwetter, I could like, oh damn it, I shouldn't have drank all that damn juice, or whatever the case was. But when I woke up that day, it felt, I knew I did it because I was scared, or because like just something is not right.
Yeah.
I've had other premonitions and like that too. I remember this girl I was stripping with, I was living with her, and she was telling me how her brother died by this movie theater in Brandon, like where we're from in Florida, Brandon, and then I called my brother because she was just so she's like, oh, you love your loved ones, and I called her and I was just like, so I called my brother. He's like, what? And I was like, oh, my friend told me about her brother dying. I love you. He's like, love you too. I'm fine. I'm fine. I don't even drive like that. Like you're good. I was like, okay. And then the next day, my very best friend died in that same spot.
Oh,
that she was talking about. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. I just had a feeling. Actually, that was when my first best friend passed away, and when my other best friend passed away, um, I was actually out with one of my best friends, Jessica, who was like, Jessica in a couple episodes ago. But me and her were out with her coworker for Gasparilla, which is like New Orleans. It's was it Mardi Gras? But for Tampa. Like it's like a huge pirate themed parade. They have a kids day one, an adult day one, and adult night one. The adult night one is lit. Like it's they all go hard. And so we went down there, or we were like down there, whatever. So it's time to leave. And the roads are really slick. I was like, hey, like it had just rained and there was like pocket holes in the ground it's shitty down there. So there's like, gravel and pocket holes and shit. And they trapped water. So I told him, I was like, hey, we need to be careful. We need to be careful. So I remember we went up to this one place. It wasn't like there was no stop sign there, so we honestly didn't have to stop. We could have just took a right, but there was a car coming and he slammed on the brakes before we took the right turn. And like I just like my heart was pounding. And she's like, Corey, it's okay, like we're fine, we're safe. And I was like, no, something's wrong. I was like, something's gonna happen. I don't know. I have a really bad feeling tonight. And she's like, oh, Corey, we've been drinking and you were just scared, because Daisy had passed away at this point. She's like, you're scared because of the whole car accident. Then like, you're fine. So I was like, okay.
They better listen to you, shit.
Yeah, I was like,
at this point.
Yeah, I was like, I don't really cars. Oh my gosh, dude, I just hate. Yeah. So I was like, oh my gosh, there's something wrong. And this was like probably like 1:00 in the morning at this point, like 1:00. So I was like, no, I just have a feeling. So I went home, and right before we kept drinking a little bit, and right before we went to sleep, I was like, something just doesn't feel right. I feel like something, like I felt like my whole DNA was just changed. That was the same feeling I got with Daisy. I was like, no, please don't let this happen again. I fell asleep. I woke up and they told me my best friend died in a car accident. The same way that I had the feeling when we slammed the brakes and the tires slipped because it was wet that night, because it rained the previous night. His tires, they slipped because he was driving. He loved to drive fast. He was driving and it hit a pocket hole of water, from what I was told, like a pocket hole that had water in it. And his tires slipped and he just lost control. And it was just very weird to have those like premonitions.
I know if we're ever together and you like, I have a bad feeling, we get the fuck up out of wherever we at. Like I'm like, let's go. Like we're not taking no chances. Like hell no.
There's certain. There's like, I know the difference between like me having anxiety, like when I get on a plane, like I don't like going up on a plane, but there's certain things where it feels like my whole like I honestly really can't even explain the feeling. It's scary. There's another one. It's actually about our grandma, but I'll let you share because I just realized I've been talking.
No, I mean like I honestly, as spooky as a person I am, I have not really experienced a lot of real life spookiness. Like, and I hate that for myself because I'm like, I want to experience it, and I'm like, I don't know. I love horror. I love I love spirits and paranormal, and like I always think to myself, like, if there was ever like some paranormal shit going on, like how would I react to it? Because it's like right now I'd be thinking like, oh, I love that shit, but I feel like if it really happened, I'd probably be fucking scared. But I don't know. I haven't experienced anything that I can think of right now. Like that's why it's like when we decided to do this topic, I was like, yes, but I don't know. I feel cheated. Like how the fuck me of all people
and I get
haven't experienced anything spooky for real in real life. So.
Yeah, no, I get that. I was actually I was in a car accident a couple, what was it, 2015, yeah, late November 2015, and I was pushed into a guardrail on the highway. It was me and my friend, and I just remember hitting the song that was playing. I don't want to say it because I really like the song and the artist, but I hit the guardrail and I just saw white, and it was smoke, literally like this. I just saw white and smoke, and I saw my best friends.
Damn.
I can't even tell you honestly if I was dead or alive, but I saw them and I started going to them, and was like I was like, oh my gosh, like it was weird because I've always been so scared of, like, you get scared of the unknown and, like, dying and stuff like that. How's it gonna happen and stuff like that. But for me, like, I am religious and spiritual, so I was just like, I know that they're waiting for me in heaven and stuff like that. And so to see them, I was like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, I'm ready to go. And they were just, I was so excited to see them. I didn't think of anything else. And they literally looked at me and they were like, they said it out loud. They were like, no, you're not leaving your babies with Sean. That's not happening. They were like, no, because he grew up with us. Yeah. So he was like, my guy best friend Casey and Daisy, she knew of him and she was like, I don't like him for you. So they were like, you're not leaving your babies with him. Oh, I promise you, we'll see you on the other side. You're good. Like, and me and Casey's favorite movie was Titanic, and Daisy knew that was my favorite movie. So they were like, you go die, old lady, warm your bed. We'll wait for you at the bottom of the ship, like Titanic and all that shit, but you're not leaving your kids with them. And they didn't shove me, but they like were just kind of like, just go back. Yeah. And I did, and I came to, there was smoke I actually still have that's from the airbag. That mark right there. And I came to, I just thought, I was like, there's no kids in the car because I just dropped off my kids and my friend Addie's kids. I was like, there's no kids in the car. So my only thing I was worried about was getting Addie out of the car and safe, because they're like, she was the only one I had to worry about. So yeah, that was another premonition. I called his his ex-girlfriend. They were on good terms. They just didn't work out. But like, I called her. She was actually one of the last people to hang out with him when he passed away. And I called her and she was like, yeah, he loved you. Like, you were his other little sister. And she's like, and I was crying. I was like, I feel like I'm crazy. She's like, you're not crazy. He was there.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I will share like a near death experience that I had, which was really wild. It was after I had my fourth kid, Raina, and I had a cervical tear. So I started bleeding out, and they weren't able to stop the blood. So it was so weird. Like, I had her, and everything was going good, and it was like 10 minutes later, they're like, "Oh, you keep bleeding. Like, if the bleeding is not stopping," and I started feeling sick to my stomach, like nauseous, and I know that I hadn't eaten anything before I had gotten there because they didn't let me. And like I was like, I guess that's like a tail sign that like you're bleeding out when you start feeling like nauseous. So they had rushed me to the ICU, and I swear it was like a movie. Like, I'm fading in and out, and they had me in this room, and they had like these white lights over. It's like it was. I swear to God, it was like a movie. Like, I'm fading in and out. All I'm seeing is white lights, and they're literally just trying to stop the bleeding. And um, I had to have like 13 bags of blood, like a blood transfusion.
I remember. I think Mom told me about that. I remember that. Yeah.
But that shit was super wild because it was literally like you would see on the movies. Like, I'm laying on my back and like I'm fading in and out, and I'm hearing doctors, seeing doctors, and all I see is like bright white lights and them just trying to save me. I mean, obviously I was saved, but that was like probably the wildest thing I've ever went through. So yeah.
Yeah. I guess I would say another one. This is the one that I wanted to like say, but like I would say that grandma, when our mom's mom passed away, it was really hard for me to understand and to grip. And I think it was more upsetting because I felt like I was one of her closest grandkids, and like it made me upset that they didn't send me out to the funeral or whatever. And I always felt like, oh, maybe she's mad at me or upset that I didn't go. And I was really upset. I think when she died in like October or something.
I don't know,
I was,
but
yeah.
yeah.
She died later in the year, and then it was the first Mother's Day without her. So I remember I always like I put on, I think the radio. I forget what it was. I think I had like a rock station was the last thing it was on, and I always listen to Delilah. She's a adult contemporary music, so she'll play like Who Sank the Reason, or she'll play like Shania Twain, or just something, you know poetic and stuff. And so of all genres, and was it was the first Mother's Day without her, and I was praying to her, and I was just like, Grandma, I love you. It's the first Mother's Day without you. Like, please, I just want some kind of sign that you're okay and that you know that I love you. And I'm sorry that I wasn't there. And, I don't know why they didn't buy me a ticket. And I just always beat myself up for it at this point. And I was like, please, please give me any sign. Like, I mean, just, I don't care if it's like a leaf falling from the tree. Like, we're in Florida. So, leaf on, it's just something. And I prayed and I was like, amen. And after that, I turned on the music and I was expecting my rock music to play. And it was on the contemporary station. It was Delilah just starting. She's like, okay, this is another contemporary, like, or no, she was like, sorry. She's like, this is another like song, the Happy Mother's Day. This is for all the mothers out there. And after she played that, before I say what song it was, because you're gonna know when I tell you this, one of the things that I feel reminds me of our family and of Grandma's death was the movie Soul Food.
I swear to God, I knew it was Soul. And yep. I already know what song.
Yep,
I felt it coming that you was gonna say this.
So it wasn't even the middle of it. It wasn't the end. I turned it on, and Delilah herself said, all right, happy Mother's Day to all the moms and the grandmas and the aunties and stepmoms and women playing moms. This song is for you. And it and it started out like that. And I was like, and I bawled my fucking eyes out. I mean, like, it wasn't even like, it was like, like fucking tears, snot, like everything. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm crying. I was like, Grandma, is that you? Is that really you? Like, give me a sign. And I had in my closet, stop and cry. In my closet, I had all my board games up on, so it was my closet and then like the shelf. So I had all my board games up on the shelf. I was like, Grandma, give me a sign that, oh my gosh, this is the song. This is my grandma's. Like, no way, this is a song I dedicate to you. Is this really you? Give me a sign this is you. All of my board games fell in my closet. I could hear all the game pieces. Like, it was as clear as day. Like I said, I don't remember what I had for breakfast a couple days ago, but it was clear as fucking day.
Damn.
That and I was just like, okay, Grandma, like, I love you, but you're kind of scaring me. But I was so happy that I was in 8th grade. And I was like, I'm so happy that you're okay. And my other song for her was by Christina Aguilera, which is about, her dad and passing on and stuff like that. And so after that, I was singing that song, and I was like, okay, Grandma, like, I love you. You're scaring me, but like,
you're scared.
Yeah, I was like, but I'm so glad to know that's my sign. I'm going to take it forever. And now I know that not only are you okay, but you know that it wasn't like I didn't care. I just couldn't be there.
I totally forgot you and CJ didn't come to the funeral.
I was pissed. I asked Mom, and she was like, I just can't afford it. And I even asked Dad, and I guess he couldn't afford it. But honestly, this was like in 2005. Like, now that I'm an adult, I'm like, okay, this was like in the height of the recession, like the peak. So I get it. This was,
I think, 06. Yeah, that she died.
Yeah, 06, 05, 06.
Oh man, you just made me remember something though. Speaking of Grandma's funeral, because I think I told you about this when we were in a limo, and it was me, Mom, and Elijah and Chanel and Aunt Merlin. And we were driving through the cemetery, getting ready to go to where she's buried. And Elijah, he's like, at this time, this was 06. I think Elijah was born in 04 or something. Like he was like 2 or 3. But he was like, "Look, Mom, it's a baby in a tree." Like we're literally driving through the cemetery at this point, getting heading to the plot, and we passed by a tree, and he's like, "It's a baby in a tree," and I'm sitting there like, it probably is. Probably. Mom and Aunt Burley's like, "Oh, where do you see the baby?"
Yeah. Like, there's another thing is because we took our cousin or your cousin's because I'm claiming, but her son to grandma's cemetery, and we sat him right next to her headstone, and he couldn't stop smiling and laughing. And same with my kids. I believe there was a movie I watched with these it was called Baby Geniuses. And they could see, they were super intellectual. They could see all that shit until they were 3.
Yeah.
And so I believe that because my kids, they would laugh and just, I would catch them as little infants or in the toddler stage up until they were 3, just laughing and joking and just I'm like, oh, I know that they were there. And another thing, well, I'm going to say this really quick, is that, so the grandma thing after the board game, the next day I was like, oh, damn. I was like, I love you, Grandma. But damn, now I got to clean up all these fucking board games, whatever. I went in my closet. Nothing was touched. They were all up there. All my board games. All the pieces that, I heard everything fall. I woke up the next day. I was like, damn. There's nothing that I have to clean, nothing like that. Oh. But another thing that I would say that's is kind of superstitious to me a little bit is that my best friends, the same years that they died are the same years that I got pregnant. So my first best friend, she died a day and a half after my birthday. And then so this is late May. And then fast forward late August, middle of September, I found out I'm pregnant with my firstborn. And then Casey died February 9th, 2014. I got pregnant late August, early September of 2014 as well. And It makes me sad because I'm like, my kids have never met them, but I don't think they remember, but I feel like they did. I feel like my kids met my best friends before I met my kids. I feel like they kind of scooted over to let them kind of just be there because their deaths was very hard on me, and I think that they knew that I needed someone not necessarily to distract me, but to walk through the rest of my life with me.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what to say. So yeah, that was, and another thing was, so with Emma, her godfather unalived himself, committed suicide, and I gave her his middle name, a girl version of his Alexandria, and then I gave her Daisy's. Daisy had 2 middle names, so I gave her one. So I told myself the other. I was like, oh, when I found out I was pregnant again, one of the first things I thought about was, oh, I'm gonna give this kid the second middle name. Even CJ was like, I love this name. I was like, that's so funny. That's Victoria. I was like, that's Daisy's other middle name, so I'm gonna have that be her middle name instead of the first name. He's like, oh yeah, bet. So Sean was like, my ex-husband was really fighting me on having the girls. He was like, I really want my mom to be incorporated and blah blah blah. I was like, well, I kind of already have this plan set. We already made a deal. We already made a deal that you would name the boys and I would name the girls. I told you that I'll name the boys, you name the girls, because that's how I. But no, you gave me this power, and he was really upset. Then Mom chimed in and was like, well, I want my name in it too.
Right.
And I was like, oh my gosh. So she has Mom's Vera, but it represents Mom, and then his mom's middle name is also Alana's middle name. So I was sitting there signing the birth certificate, and I didn't want to sign it. And I was like, Daisy, I'm so sorry. I want Alana to have you in her to walk her through life. And I was really, really upset about it. And I even told myself, I was like, I don't even know how I can even look at this kid. I wanted Daisy to be a part of her so bad. And I'm not gonna mess my makeup because it took me a long time. But I went.
Tissue.
Well, no, good. I went on. I'll just keep drinking. I went on Facebook, and I just kept seeing all these happy birthdays. I was like, "What is this?" So I went to click on her thing, and Alana was born on Daisy's birthday.
Oh, she was? I didn't know that. Oh, damn.
Yep. So I felt really bad that Alana didn't have Daisy's middle name.
But she was born on her birthday?
But she has her birthday. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yep. So, and they even, it's biologically not related, but she has her chin too. It's so cute. And so that, I was just holding her, and I couldn't stop crying because I was like, oh my gosh, like, she has you. Like, she can, like, you can walk with her through life and stuff like that. And it was one of the best feelings in the world. And Alana gets so happy, and she's just like, "No, I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm just gonna wipe it out because I want to mess up my makeup." But it was just so cool because I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" Like, it's crazy that when you reach out to, like, I know you're not religious, but you're spiritual and stuff like that. I'm religious and spiritual, and it's just so nice that, like, when you reach out for those spirits and those, you call for your angels and your spirits, they're really listening. And it's like, wow. I was really beat up. I was like, how am I gonna? I even thought about it. I was like, well, I might have to just, me and my mom were close. So I was like, I might just have to take out her name and then just put Daisy's, name in there and stuff like that. But just, that was her. That was the best gift ever I've ever received in my life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, mint, top tier. Nothing can beat that. But yeah, those are the ones that I can think of off the top of my head. Those are the ones that really, like, stuck with me. I'm sure if I really thought, I have definitely a few more, but those are definitely, like, there. Those are the ones that I think about almost, like, at least once every 6 months is every story that I've ever told you for the rest of my life. It was a lot. It was very heavy, very intense, and especially people who don't believe in stuff like this, or
oh my god,
you how you imagine things.
Like, when people say they don't believe, like, how could you not? Like, there'll be so many signs, like, everywhere. Like, how could you not believe in spirituality? Like, shit just be coming to me. I will say, like, my intuition is good. Like, my shit, and I feel like my shit's been really spot on as of lately. Like, shit just really, I be thinking about stuff, and then it'll, like, pop up on the TV, or Fred or the kids or somebody will say what I've been thinking. Like, I was like, shit, what the fuck? Yeah.
That's crazy. No, my kids they're definitely, like, a little intuitive like me too. I kind of like to think that, like, maybe I passed on that, gene and stuff like that. I mean, I remember
witchy powers.
No, literally, like, even when my classmate died, I remember me and my friend were talking about him. We were walking and we kept seeing shadows, like, following us behind. And then when we got like right by her house, we stopped seeing them. And then we got into her house, and me and her kind of sat there. This girl's friends at that time, and we were like, maybe he kind of knew we were talking about him. We kind of summoned him in a way.
Yeah.
And maybe he just wanted to make sure that we got home safe. And then once we, turned the corner to her house, we stopped seeing the shadows. And it was just like, maybe it was just certain stuff like that. But I don't know. I'll always be a believer of, there is a great, there's another.
There's, like, I feel like we're all connected in a way. Like, oh, you gotta watch this show called Manifest. Oh, it's good as hell. But yeah, we're all connected in a weird ass crazy.
That's how I felt with Daisy and the birthday thing. Like, it wasn't like, it was crazy to think, because like, mom really wanted me to have Emma on her birthday, and I went in the day before on grandma's birthday. We'll talk about it later. My grandma's birthday didn't have her. Mom's birthday didn't have her. The doctor told me and mom at 6 p.m. that she's most likely to be born on the 7th, the next day, and she was at, like, 4:40 and stuff like that. And so it's just crazy to think that, like, we purposely tried and that didn't happen.
Oh yeah.
Or with Alana, completely. Like it wasn't like, oh, your birthday's the day before Daisy's, your birthday's the day after Daisy's. You and Daisy share the same birthday. And that just blows my fucking mind. Like we really are connected. We are all connected. I love
I still find it weird that your dad predicted Anaya's birth. Like what I think that was literally the last time I talked to your dad, like on the phone. He called me so randomly. He called me so randomly when I was pregnant with Anaya. And he was like, and I told, because Anaya's due date, I think was like October 13th or 16th or some shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he was like, oh, well, maybe she'll be born on CJ's birthday.
He kept saying,
sure enough, she was.
He kept saying that around the house a few times. And then when she was actually born, he was like, talk to your mama and your sister. Your sister just had the baby. And then, like, after that, we hung up. He's like, see, I told you that she was gonna have the baby on that. I was like, okay.
Right. And I be telling when that happened, I was like, me and you gave birth on the same day.
Oh, that is so weird.
I know.
Like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's gross because I was like, me and grandma conceived around the same. Girl, now we're getting off topic.
I know, right?
But no, that was. I haven't said those stories in a long time, long time, and I've only told. I can count on one hand how many people I've told all those stories to. I haven't never told one person all those stories in a lifetime. But even the individual stories, I've only told like this person 5. Like I've told 5 people this story. I told 3 people that story. I told 2 people that story. I never told anyone that story. Like it's crazy, but yeah, I got out. It was nice.
Just wow.
Yeah.
I guess we can. Let's cheers to positive premonitions. Like I'm ready for you to like call me and be like, sis, I just had a dream that we won like $100 million. And I'll be like, bitch, let's go.
I'm not even greedy. I'll take 500,000. I'm not even greedy. I'll just give me 500,000. I will live my best life off of that.
Well, shit, 500,000 is cool, but I don't know. I need
only one of us can own a house off that. Though.
Yeah, I'm like, we need at least a couple millions. Like
honestly, 2 million. I ain't not greedy.
Yes, at least 2 million to start off with. We can like work with that. So yes, let's cheers to some positive.
Cheers! I'll have some lucid dreams. Oh God.